how hard it is to be a father and a business owner and a husband. Let's not take that off the table.
No, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think out of all things, that's the thing that unfortunately I forget the most, is that like how important that is to be a great husband.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I want to be a great business owner. I want to be a great father. And then like my poor wife is just, I don't even mean to like make it a joke right now, but it's like,
what do we want to be remembered for? Do we want to be the amazing father? Do we want to be the amazing business owner? But we always leave off the table, do we want to be an amazing husband?
Right.
And it's really hard.
Not fair.
And it's not fair, right? And the women that we have is actually, they are our backbone, and what they do helps us tremendously in what we're trying to do.
Young Junk!
Good morning. Welcome to Path to Possible, the podcast where dreams meet action. We have a fantastic show today. I'm actually really excited. This is where raw ambition meets conversation. I have an amazing guest today, Lou Farese. I actually met him at the GSBA, which is the Greater Springfield Business Association. It should just be a Springfield BNI, but it was awesome. I'm meeting a lot of great people in it. The one thing that I know him as is he is a part owner of Vera's, and that's how he got into it. And the other part of it is he's got Captivate Painting and Remodeling, and I cannot wait to talk into more in depth with how you got started, what you're doing, and how you're going through it. Hey, dude, welcome to the show. The one thing that I do want to talk about is what we were talking about before we started rolling was you had a wedding on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Which is really cool. People that have weddings on Sundays, they don't realize that we have to wake up early on Monday morning. Now, I actually was at a wedding on Thursday.
Thursday ones are tough too.
Whew, man, I'd never been to a Thursday wedding. And they did this, and I woke up Friday morning. I felt like death, but I had to get rolling. So tell me your experience on when you were waking up on Monday morning after your wedding on Monday. You had to get to work.
Yeah.
Like dude, Mondays are tough for you.
Mondays are the worst day.
Absolutely. So talk a little bit about that, but then we're going to go back into how you got started.
All
so talk about your Monday morning.
So first of all, thanks for having me on the show. Super appreciate that. And so the Sunday night wedding is the first one that I've ever been to. I have hit a Thursday one before, Thanksgiving Eve wedding that would have been a Wednesday night. But yeah, so the Sunday night wedding was my cousin. He's a huge Star Wars nerd. So is his now wife. And they just had to get married on May 4th, which is Star Wars Day. So they went with the whole Star Wars themed wedding. Super cool. They went all in on it. It was great. But the thing is that it was on a Sunday at 5:00 in Hershey Park, which is about 2 hours from where we live. We got back a little late, and a lot of people at the wedding were staying over or taking off work the next day and everything. And as a small business owner,
you can't take off.
It's difficult to do that on a Monday.
No, because your phone's ringing.
Yeah,
immediately 7:00 in the morning, your phone's ringing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
So, it's usually try and get to bed a little bit early on Sunday nights.
Okay.
So wake up early on Monday and kind of gather thoughts and everything beforehand. And that was definitely tough. Definitely tough after the Sunday wedding. Get home late. You're running on like 4.5 hours of sleep, and then still having all the same normal Monday problems. And then you're just thinking about all the other people that got to take off today, right?
You're not kidding. And then the thing is that so as a small business owner, like I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, right? And that's my time to get, maybe I get laundry done. Maybe I clean the kitchen for the wife so when she comes down, she's ready. Or maybe I make lunches for the kids. And then at 7:00, my phone's ringing, right? And then that's our day, right? Immediately at 7:00, our problems start. But before we dive into that, tell me how you got started. And so, did you start with Vera's?
What?
So did you get started with Vera's, or did you get started with Captivate Painting?
So Captivate Painting was kind of around the same time as Vera's, actually.
Okay.
I have been through quite a few businesses in my life so far already, and that's not necessarily always a good thing. 'Cause, I think I bailed on a couple of things too earlier than I should have.
Yeah, talk about it. I mean, what's the first one that you failed on?
So I grew up working in a diner that my dad owned.
Very cool.
And my dad, I don't know how cool it was. But, yeah, it was tough work. I learned a lot and worked hard. But he sold that. Him and his partner sold that in 2017.
Okay.
And they held a note on it. I'm sure people have talked about before, like seller financing on business sales.
Mm-hmm.
So they held a note on it, and the purchaser actually defaulted. And so in late 2018, my dad and his business partner were informed that they weren't going to be getting the rest of their money from the sale of the restaurant.
Oh.
And they, at that point in time, just wanted nothing to do with it. So they were kind of just like, screw it, like whatever.
Right.
And then I had this genius idea of, well, why wouldn't I can do that. Let me just take it over. And I did that. It was one of those things. It's tough when you get started.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of like restarting because, the business was strong, and then the new owner, kind of let it slide and slip. And so it was kind of restarting and trying to rebuild it. So was able to get through the first year. And after the first year, which was really difficult, I literally worked every single day. It was a local diner, so you're working holidays and everything. And I was very hands-on with it. Worked every single day for over an entire year. And finally get to the point where we think things are getting ready to turn the corner, and then COVID hits. And that made things really tough. The diner was in a neighborhood that was not going to be receptive to price increases.
Right.
And and the rent was high, and there was limited help with trying to get rent down, and we weren't in business for that long as an LLC, so getting financial aid from the government was a difficult thing to do. Mm-hmm. And so I did just kind of let that go after that at that point.
Right.
And I'd always been doing house flipping too. So, I mean, always involved in too much stuff, honestly. But I was doing a lot of house flipping. So there was a period of time where I was just doing house flipping, and I thought that was going really well. And then, of course, I think sometimes I get a little overexcited and a little overly ambitious. I'm like, well, we do great work. And, a lot of the contractors that we work with kind of suck. They're unreliable. Their communication stinks. Sometimes the product isn't exactly what you want. I'm like, why don't I just do that? And so that's when I started to ramp up Captivate Painting and Remodeling as it is now. And so that was probably mid to late 2022. And then we bought Vera's Water Ice in January of 2023.
Okay.
So that
really cool.
These two things kind of line up as far as timeline.
You're basically going with the same script as if you throw enough shit at the wall, something's bound to stick, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's true. But so yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, like, I've come to the realization that like I can do anything, but I can't do everything.
Right.
So I'm really trying to narrow my scope of what it is that I actually do, kind of reel that in and be a little bit more realistic that like, hey, I can't do 6 things at the same time. But
well, let me ask you, are you a jack of all trades, or are you just a master of none, or do you actually master a piece of what you do? Now, are you a master of water ice? Are you a master of painting? Are you a master of remodeling? Talk about, what do you bring to the table as somebody that owns a company?
I'm a business person.
Okay.
So as far as like the trades go, I'm a pretty good painter. I can do some drywall finishing, basic, none of it's rocket science.
Right.
But I don't have a real skilled hand at any of that. Water ice, I've never made a batch of water ice in my life. I don't even know what the recipe looks like. We do make our own in the store.
Very cool.
But probably in 2021, I read Who Not How, and I kind of just ran with that. And it's always like, hey, who's going to do this stuff for me? Who's going to solve these problems for me? And I've kind of just settled into that mindset of, I'm just always going to be finding the people that are going to pull all this together for me.
Absolutely. Now, we took our daughter to Vera's on Friday night after her softball game. And all the kids kept asking, where is this pineapple? There's a certain type of pineapple water ice that you guys sold that you guys don't have. And every time we ask about it, and every time we ask the front people that are working for you, they're like, oh, we don't have that anymore. Well, why not? Where is this water ice that people are really asking for?
We have our Vera's meeting today at 4.
Okay.
And I'll bring that up with Christine.
Bring it up.
Yeah, I'll bring it up. So it's a pineapple water ice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a pineapple water ice, and apparently it's amazing.
Is it melon ball?
It may be. I don't know the actual name of it, but all the kids, I mean, obviously when the kids ask you for something, they're like, I want this. And you're like, what does that mean? And then it's just like a little cherry water ice.
Yeah.
But this was like, but it was also the parents that were outside. They're like, oh yeah, they don't sell it anymore. And then the
I'll have
people
to ask about
and
that.
then the people inside were like, oh yeah, we don't sell that right now. And why can't we do it? They're like, I don't know, talk to the owner. I'm like, great, I'm talking to the owner on Monday.
Here we are. And I got some news for you. I don't know shit about it. No, I will ask Christine. So it's funny that you now bring that up, that we're having this conversation, because Vera's Water Ice and Captivate Painting and Remodeling are operated two completely separate ways. And it it really makes you think about why do we do certain things, and what's the best use of time, and yada yada yada. Because Vera's Water Ice, I show up for our Monday meeting for an hour to an hour and a half every Monday, and we kind of just review some things with myself and Rich Galler, who's my business partner there, and our manager and events manager. We review some things, maybe a little bit like soft serve or something,
right.
And basically just like after the meeting, Rich and I just bullshit for a little, and then we go home. And that's like our level of involvement. We do a little bit of sales, and we sit back and we're monitoring like our KPIs, and just like twisting some dials. Hey, how can we improve here, improve there? But it's very, very offhand. And then Captivate Painting and Remodeling is like, I can tell you anything you want to know about that business. I know 100% of what's going on every single day across 6 or 7 jobs, who's doing what's supposed to get done, what the production rates are, what the gross profit, everything about it. And it's very time intensive and very stressful. And then it's like you got Vera's Water Ice on the other side, and it operates essentially on its own. If Rich and I didn't want to be involved, we really wouldn't have to be at all. Like we could I think it would be irresponsible, but we could get rid of that weekly meeting and things would be fine. So,
right. So, all right, I'm going to dive a little deeper. You're a father, right?
Yeah.
And you have 2 kids?
Yep. Yeah.
How
Thomas
old?
And Henry.
Thomas and Henry. How old?
Thomas is 3.5.
Okay.
And Henry's going to be 2 a week from today.
Very cool.
Yeah. So they're 19 months apart.
So you are absolutely batshit crazy in every regard, nuts for being a business owner and a father. Now, can you talk about how hard it is to be a father and a business owner and a husband? Let's not take that off the table.
No, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think out of all things, that's the thing that unfortunately I forget the most, is that like how important that is to be a great husband.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I want to be a great business owner. I want to be a great father. And then like my poor wife is just, I don't even mean to like make it a joke right now, but it's like,
what do we want to be remembered for? Do we want to be the amazing father? Do we want to be the amazing business owner? But we always leave off the table, do we want to be an amazing husband?
Right.
And it's really hard.
Not fair.
And it's not fair, right? And the women that we have is actually, they are our backbone, and what they do helps us tremendously in what we're trying to do. right?
Yeah.
So obviously, 3.5 and 2, coming up on 2, which is great.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten into sports yet.
No.
Now, when you get to these things, is there a certain level of fatherhood that you want to bring to them? Like, and you know what? I can keep going on this. Like, are you building your business for your kids to take over at one point? Like, are they going to work for you? Do you want them to buy it? And obviously, I got so many more questions about this, because me, when I was buying businesses, I sat there and was like, well, I want my son to take over. I want my daughter to take this over. I want to continue to do what we're doing. But is that teaching them anything? Like, if I do the blood, sweat, and tears while they're young and enjoying all the sports and, all the water ice that they can eat, and are they really learning anything about business? Because I've seen it two sides.
Right.
So if you could talk on this a little bit, being a father.
It's
tough being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I mean, I won't say that I'm making my businesses for them in the future, as far as like, hey, Thomas or Henry they're going to own this or operate this or whatever. I'm building these businesses to be able to provide a future for them, whatever that may look like. Obviously, I want them to work as they grow up, because that's like incredibly important. There's too many kids now that are like graduating college that like never really worked. And it's like, what's going on here? So like, I don't care. Like, if they want to go to college, great. If they want to just work, great. If they want something to do with one of the businesses that I have, great. If they want nothing to do with them, great. I want to have a relationship with them as they're growing up.
Right.
I want them to learn what hard work and dedication to something is. And I want them to try as much different things as possible. Like, obviously, if I have multiple businesses, I would like for them to at least try this. You figure out what you like or not. Try this. You figure out what you like or not. With Captivate Painting and Remodeling, we're an interior remodeling company. We do anything on the inside of a house. Right. So go work with my tile guy. Do you like tile? Do you not like tile? Go work with the paint crew. Do you like painting? Do you not like painting? Right. Go scoop water ice. Like, hopefully you don't like that too much, because there's not much in it after that. You know what I mean? Like, but I really enjoy the water ice store. Okay. Do you enjoy doing the ordering and managing it? Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. And then, there's just endless possibilities. So I want them to just try as much different things as possible growing up. And as far as the businesses go with that, like, I do want to build the businesses so that they're sellable at some point. Vera's, we could sell that whenever we wanted. It doesn't depend on myself or my business partner. When we bought that, we developed systems and checklists and everything, and SOPs. Yep. That business is a very sellable asset. Okay. Captivate Painting and Remodeling, very reliant on me right now. Oh, okay. The goal would be for that to eventually not have to involve me. And at that point, then that would be a sellable asset as well.
So let me ask you, is it only reliant on you because of the money that you need right now for you and your family? Or is it only reliant on you because you don't trust anybody?
Right now, it is because I need that money.
Yeah, okay.
I need that money.
That's completely understandable.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's weird. It's we bought Vera's. Rich and I bought Vera's. It was an established business, and we bought it. And I don't want this to come across like I don't care about it, because I do care about it, and I want it to succeed. But Captivate Painting and Remodeling, I started that. Yeah, I founded that. Yep. And I built it from the ground up. And so there's a different level of attachment that I have to that, where like, I don't want to screw anything up. And yeah, this is very apples to oranges. Like, okay, if we serve somebody a bad water ice, like we just get them a better water ice at Vera's and they're happy and it's fine. And it was $3.50. Right. We screw something up in somebody's house, that could be a major problem. So to your point, there is some trust issues there with, just with the management of it all. I go through phases, some days I'll be like right now, I'm having a great time on this podcast, and
yeah.
the guys are out doing their thing. I got them all set up,
Yep.
and I'm trusting that they're just going to get everything done. And after this podcast, I'm tired from that wedding. I don't think I'm doing anything else for the rest of today.
Okay.
I'm going to go home. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to go to my Vera's meeting, which is fun.
Right.
And that'll be that. So I'm trusting everybody today, but tomorrow I'm going to be on 6 or 7 job sites across, multiple areas, driving all day, checking on everybody, and like hawking over people.
So one of the biggest things in our business, right? You make a mistake, it's very costly. Every which way.
Yeah.
In Vera's, in Captivate, no matter what, in our business, if you make a mistake, it could be very costly. If you order the wrong material, right? So say you got a tile job and you didn't order enough, or you didn't order the right stuff, right? Now the orders say they don't have it out of the same lot, right? And you got to go with a different lot. And it's like, oh, the homeowner, if they're very particular and they see a smidge color off, that's going to hurt, right? So how do we go from making these mistakes that we'll never make again, but apparently we are going to make these mistakes? When you hire somebody, when the business gets bigger, you're going to hire somebody and they're going to make the same mistakes that you did. Now, they might not make them again after that, but they will, because this is just the business that we're in. Homeowners are going to sit there and lie. And they're going to be like, well, your guy told us we were getting black tile. Well, you ordered this and you signed off on it. But how do you get through these things? Right?
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. So whoever takes my position in the future, sure, they're going to replicate some mistakes I've already made.
Yep.
But I will say they're not going to replicate all of them, because when I make a mistake, it's not happening again. It gets documented. It gets part of our systems and processes. And we have spreadsheets and all kinds of software, and that gets put in there as part of our system. And so we have all these checklists. And so say it was an issue where we didn't order enough tile. Mm-hmm. And okay, we made that mistake once. How do we not make this again? Okay, so for say whenever we have a flooring job that involves tile or vinyl floor or hardwood floor, whatever it is, now there's a line item on our pre-job checklist that is, did we confirm the square footage multiple times? Yes. Okay, cool. We confirm that with the person's signature there. Did we order it's industry standard to order 10 to 15% overage on tile or flooring in case something's broken, or, sometimes you have to make cuts and you don't get 100% use out of the tile. You just don't. So it's industry standard to do 10 to 15% overage. So, get bid on it one time. Maybe we just go, whatever, we're just going to do a 20% overage. Right. Doesn't matter. We're going to return it. Right. And whatever you don't use, you return. So you get that money back in the end.
So you don't keep that in like a stock.
So what we'll do is we'll keep some in the client's house for, in the future. So if say we needed 30 boxes of tile,
right?
We, including the overage. Mm-hmm. So say we only needed 23 and we ordered 30 just so we had plenty of extra. We would use whatever we use, and then we would leave a case in their basement or their shed, mm-hmm. in case the tile breaks in the future. If it's a kitchen floor, they drop a coffee mug on it and something happens, they just have it in the future, and then we go and return the rest.
So you don't keep that overage for like a cheaper customer. And I only say cheaper customer because you do run into a situation where your customers are like, that's a little pricey. I can't really do that. And it's like, well, I got overflow. And if you're okay with these materials, I can do this job for this money. Is that is that something that you guys can do, or is that something where it's like, I'm not even playing with that type of customer?
So That really depends. Some of the tile and stuff that, especially with house flips and everything, very boring stuff. House flips. We use the same material on every single flip, and so we always have overage of stuff like that.
Okay.
And so if it's something like we just recently had 2 kitchen remodels where the customers wanted 3x6 subway white subway tile. We have a ton of that sitting around the shop. But right now we're doing a flooring job in Westchester, and the flooring is a Taj Mahal quartzite tile floor, and it's very expensive. And there's no way in hell that we're keeping multiple extra cases of that at hundreds of dollars a case.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense, especially when like margins aren't always fantastic in remodeling. Like where you could just hang on to hundreds and hundreds of dollars of extra material, because it does add up. When we moved our shop last October.
Very cool.
And we had so much, like, what the fuck? We have like thousands of dollars of like stuff, like extra stuff, like how did we get here? We need to get rid of some of this.
Right.
So we did go through a couple house flips where we were just like, whatever, we're just using all of this material that we already have. We're cramming it in that house in one way or another and making it look good. So we burned through all that, but we are looking to launch. Ideally, for Captivate Painting and Remodeling, we just do bathrooms.
Right.
Just do bathrooms, nothing else. We have a fantastic bathroom system.
Well, I saw you did the pantry into a bathroom, which was fantastic. Yeah. I could not believe what you could do with a pantry.
Empty closet.
Yeah. Right. And I saw you like the pictures, everything that you had on your site. I could not believe. I'm like, oh my God, they ripped up the floor. They put a nice little toilet in. They did the nice, it was a gorgeous bathroom, and it was big enough where people can actually move.
Yeah.
I lived in a shell, right? In Southwest or South Philly, right? Me and my wife, she wanted to live down in the city. I hated it. Drove me nuts. We had a little door, closet. Dude, there was no sink in there. There was nothing, just a toilet. And it was like you literally sat on the, like, as a man, you have to sit on the toilet to take a pee.
Mm-hmm. That's
how it is, because you couldn't stand up in there.
Yeah.
And it's awful. But you guys did a nice pantry. And I tell everybody, go to Captivate Painting and Remodeling on their Facebook page, and you will see a lot of what their work is, and it is absolutely beautiful. And I saw the guy doing the videography.
Oh yeah, the scenes, the videography.
Yeah. And it was fantastic. A lot of people are into they're going into the brass now. Like, I hate brass.
Yeah. Well, it's brushed gold now.
It's brushed gold.
It's brushed gold.
Okay.
Brass is super tacky and from the 90s. It's brushed. It's all brushed gold now.
So
it's the same product.
So my brother did his basement, and I'm like, dude, what's up with all the brass? And he goes, because it looks awesome. And I'm like, nah, man, it looks like it's fucking 90s and 80s. And he's like, dude, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I was like, you're probably right. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know nothing about, like, obviously you see how I dress. I got fucking Adidas on, a pair of jeans, and a stained fucking shirt for work. And like, I know nothing about what's going on. When I was in real estate, when I was doing that, a lot of people were like, I was reading articles about, oh, the tuxedo cabinets are in. And there's a black and white, you know, the black with the white, or like they had a little accent white in them. Looked awful. I hated it. I was like, I don't even understand why this is in.
Yeah.
But hey, people are people, right?
Yeah.
They like what they like. And then you go in, and like when I was showing like $1 million houses, I was like, "Ugh."
You'll see some really ugly shit.
You see some really ugly shit
in the expensive houses.
And
you're like, what's going on here?
But what they did was they paid like $50,000 for this shit. And it's like, Jesus Christ, like, did you do it just because it cost that much money, or do you really like that fucking style?
Yeah.
So when you go to these homes, this is another thing I want to talk about, sales. When you go to someone's home, right? So I've heard it different ways. I've heard a consumer sit there and say, well, you know, the guy that came to my office or came to my home had dirty fingernails, looked like shit, but he knew what he was talking about, and we went with him because of that. And then I hear the other side. The guy came dressed to the nines, looked great, wore work boots, but didn't have dirty fingernails and could not explain anything and was just trying to sell the job. Can you explain, when you go into a homeowner's home, what do you want them to see you as?
Well, that is a difficult one. And, you know, I have a lot of friends that are in the trades as well.
Okay.
And, you know, I always see them posted on Facebook about how they're really good guys. They run great businesses. They're really fantastic at what they do. They work every single day in their business. They make good money. They do great work. And, you know, they always look a little bit dirty. You know, their clothes are a little like they're working. That's fine. That's totally normal. But they're always sharing. It's like that same fucking post on Facebook all the time about like, oh, like when you see a salesperson show up to your house to sell your roof and they got their nice clothes on and their nice truck. Like they're just a con artist. They're a con artist. And it's like, that's why you need, like, basically why you need the dirty contractor to come in. Cause this is a real hardworking man that's trying to provide for the community. And like, sure, there's some truth in both of these statements. But I mean, me personally, I don't want to walk into somebody's house being dirty. Like that's like, I don't want to buy something from somebody that's coming to my house and they're like dirty looking or anything. So when I go on a sales appointment, I'm wearing pretty much what I'm wearing now.
Okay.
Which is just like I have a pair of boots that I wear when I work in the field, which now I still get I get stuck working in the field sometimes still, and I have a pair of boots that has concrete and paint and everything on them. And then I have a nicer pair, and they're not like brand new or anything, but I wear these or pants that don't have paint on them, and either a collared shirt or just a regular clean shirt.
Right.
That's how I like to show up in somebody's house.
You're not showing up in a Rolex.
No.
Right.
And this is how I feel confident in selling, because you have to be confident when you're selling.
Okay.
Because shit's not cheap anymore.
No.
It's like we're going into somebody's house. Like we cannot do a bathroom for under $30,000.
Well, when I saw the one thing that you did, which I loved in your video, was that when you walked into the back room, right, of the house that you were doing, I saw this cardboard on the ground that you walk in. Now, that gives the homeowner an understanding like, hey, I give a shit about your floor, regardless if it's linoleum or tile or carpet. I got cardboard literally taped up and wall to wall.
Yeah.
And then I saw when you walk past the kitchen, you guys plastic that off.
Yeah, the zip wall system.
Yeah, it looked like a scene in E.T. when they were trying to get his ass out of there, and they were like doing the quarantine for all the kids. Like that's what like you had plastic everywhere.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say like a scene from Dexter when he's like murder everybody.
Yeah, I didn't want to go that crazy, but yes. But so I mean, dude, you had plastic everywhere. And then you have your area that you're working in, and every day it seemed like your guys cleaned up everything, which is amazing, because as a homeowner, if you're sitting there working in the kitchen, or you look at, like if you look at the workspace, I don't want to look at shit.
Right.
I want to look at like, hey, these guys really cleaned up every day. So how important is that to you, and how much do you push that on your guys?
So people are buying we're selling a package to somebody.
Yeah.
We're not selling a bathroom job. We're not selling a bathroom remodel. A lot of guys, you know, they look at it and they're just trying to sell this bathroom remodel job or this kitchen remodel job. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. We sell an entire package. And what our package includes is everything that people see about us. That includes, all of our marketing. And, in our marketing, you see our trucks, you see our guys, you see how we set up our job sites and everything. And our job site package is always day one, we are protecting. Like, I don't even care if we don't get work done on day one. Hey, we're starting your project on Tuesday. We don't like to start on Mondays because, as we already talked about, Mondays are a disaster. So we're starting the project on Tuesday. We'll be there. And sometimes we'll be there, depending on the scope of the project, we'll be there all day and we won't do any actual work. We're literally spending all day putting ram board down, putting plastic up, asking the homeowner, hey, by the way, like, is there something we can do with these pictures on this wall? Because I think when we do some demo here, this picture might fall off the wall, and it looks like it's like a nice painting or whatever.
Yeah,
just making sure that like our client's house is completely set up the way that we need it to be, and it's so important to take care of your client's house. I always tell people, I'm like, look, if you have 10 contractors come in, maybe 7 or 8 of them will give you the same exact product, quality and everything that we're going to give you. The end result's going to be the same, but it's the process,
right?
The overall process that's where we shine at. Because we really care. So like we clean up at the end of every day, and I don't really push that on my guys as much because we have our little secret is we have an in-house cleaning team. So Christine comes and takes care of that because like.
Love it.
We're like, look, we're guys.
Yeah.
And so like we clean up, and our definition of being cleaned up, like it isn't really on par with like what being cleaned up actually is.
Yeah, right.
And so they pack up all their tools and they fold up their drops and everything and they sweep. But then Christine comes in and she knocks it out.
We all
and
can't be
cleans
Danny
it.
Tanner.
Yeah.
We really can't. But that's amazing. And that's how it's supposed to be. When I got my kitchen redone, they gave me a basin sink to do dishes.
Yeah.
And I needed a working kitchen, but I didn't have a working kitchen. The thing was gutted, and I just needed something to have some running water. And, when you run the water, it came out brown and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, like after you ran it for a little bit, it would come out clear. But everything was great as long as you understand what your customer is doing. Correct? Yeah. Okay, great. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go backwards here. How is your wife with what you're doing? How does she handle your stresses? Because obviously we stress every day, every night. We wake up in 2 a.m. with cold sweats. How are we going to make payroll this week? How are we going to do this? We have customers that, they're not going to pay until we come back and fix that little morsel. But that was, hey, look, I'm sorry. I was there a year earlier, and they want us to come back and fix like a crack in their, in their grout. And it's like, dude, we were there last year. Like, we weren't there 2 weeks ago.
We actually, we developed a system for that.
Okay.
Too.
All right.
That's a fun system, actually.
All right.
We follow up at 1 week after project completion. Like, hey, Mike, been a week since we finished up your bathroom. Just want to make sure like everything's operating 100%. And then they're, 9 times out of 10, if not a little bit greater than that, yeah, everything's fine. But every now and then it's like, oh, well, actually, like, the shower's dripping a little. Okay, no problem. We'll come over tomorrow and we'll tighten that up, get it figured out for you. So it gives us another touch there. Also gives us another chance to ask them for a 5-star review if they haven't already given us one. Right. Because they're like, oh yeah, everything's perfect. Great. All right. Awesome. Love to hear that. Hey, notice you still haven't given us a 5-star review. You're loving the bathroom. Can you just take like 2 minutes? Here's the link. Right. We also follow up at 1 month and we're like, hey, same thing. How's everything going? Do you need us to come over and touch up anything if you noticed anything? And that gives us another touch on the person.
Love it.
And then I like how you said 1 year too, because we will follow up just at 1 year. And how is everything? And hey, well, the grout's a little cracked here. Now, if they had to call us and tell us that if this wasn't part of our system, that could be an annoying thing. It's like, oh, this fucking person's complaining about their grout cracked a year later. Like, it's grout, dude. It's going to crack. But we turn it into an opportunity. We're calling them, hey, how is everything? Oh, everything's great. We love it. People have been over for parties. They think everything's beautiful. It's great. But like some of the grout is cracking. Oh, of course it is. No problem. Like that happens sometimes. We're going to come over and take care of that for you. And then when we're there, we're also trying to sell them on something else while we're in their house. So,
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Now, when you go over there, right? What is your MO? Is it to sell them something else, or is it to keep all the settlement contained, right? So if that makes sense, I don't know if I'm.
So we're going there because we do want their project to be perfect even a year later.
Okay.
And we do care that it stays that way, and we don't want them to have this annoying thing going on in their, a year. It's still a brand new space.
Yeah.
We don't want these, things going on where they're looking at, like the grout's cracked. That was a great example that you gave. Oh, the grout's cracked. We don't want them looking at it every day and thinking of that.
Right.
We want them to know that we care and we're taking care of our clients. And it just so happens that, after we call them out of the blue after a year that their project's done and ask them if there's anything we can do to, touch anything up in their project, and then they invite us over because there's a small problem, we take care of it right away. Just so happens that they're reminded that they had a great experience with us while we were doing their remodel. They loved their remodel for this whole entire past year. They loved Mike or Colin or whoever was at their house working, and they trust us as a company. And it's just that last little reminder, and then we're in their house. And so it's also kind of an opportunity for them to be like, oh, well, actually, while you're here, can you look at, the hallway? I think the hallway needs to be painted, or small items like that.
The other thing I wanted to ask you is, would you add like $100 to your bill, right? And say you're doing a nice kitchen. And I saw the kitchens that you've done. Fantastic.
I hate doing kitchens.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Right? Because nobody has a party in their bathroom. Everybody has the party in their kitchen, and they want to show off this kitchen. Now, when you do a kitchen and you just pop $100 on that thing and you say, when I do your kitchen and it's finished and you're having your party, I'd like to cater it with Elegance Cafe. That's my business.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But you can cater it however you want. Say, hey, I'd like to cater it. All I ask is that you put my business card there. Now, would that actually help and be like, hey, I'm coming out. I'm going to call you a week later, and I'm going to call you a year later and make sure everything's great. All I ask is that when you have your party, let me cater it. Let me have my business cards out there. Will this work for you? Like, is that something that you would do as like a salesman? Like, just, hey, look, I added $100 to your thing because I'm going to cater your entire party. Whether it's a communion party, because obviously we're in the realm of communion parties.
Yeah, we're in communion.
And then you got graduation parties that are going to come up in a month, right? And then here we go. We got summer parties. Yeah. We got barbecues.
Block parties.
Hey, look, I can bring Zach's Hamburgers over here with a truck, right? And then when Vera's gets big enough and they get a little truck that they park outside, and then
we do a lot of events.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But
so what's the
I don't want you carrying buckets all the time. I want you to have a nice little freezer.
Yeah. So
truck.
what's the and forgive me here. Like the MVP model, the minimum viable product. like business style or whatever. So for the Vera's events, we run very much like MVP there. It's like, all right, how because it's super high margin business, water ice. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe
Kids love it.
And well, here's the kicker with the
Mr. Softy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So our building that we're in isn't separately metered, and so we don't pay the water bill. and
you're a
water ice store. So it's incredible. But yeah, so we run the MVP model for that. We had a cart last year, well, the last 2 years, that we would trailer like a classic style ice cream push cart around with the, the fucking umbrella and everything.
Right.
And we did that for 2 years. And, basically it's like myself or my partner had to trailer it around, and we're like, fucking like, I want to go down the shore. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
what's that? You mean sitting on the beach and relaxing?
Yeah.
No. We're not there yet.
Yeah, like on Saturday, it's like really like we take like every other weekend or whatever. It's like, oh my God, I gotta trailer this ice cream truck around on this ice cream cart around on Saturday again. It was kind of annoying. So we went to a tent and table setup, super professional look, almost like a trade booth look.
Okay.
Super professional looking. It fits in any of the employees' cars. They just pack it up in there. They grab the water ice, grab the ice cream. It's all in freezers, portable freezers, and they just go and they take care. And now we're out. So it's perfect.
Well, I mean, dude, so like all this is great. When your kids get 8 and 6, right? Which you are literally 5 and 6 years away.
Yeah.
Right? You got sports. Now, were you an athlete growing up?
Yeah, I grew up playing hockey and baseball.
Oh,
and,
so hockey.
My parents had me on 2 hockey teams. I'm like, now I look at it, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yo, that's amazing.
Why'd you let me do that?
So hockey is like a 5 a.m. thing.
Yeah.
Right? And then what other sports?
Baseball.
Oh, yeah, baseball.
Yeah.
Okay, so baseball, softball. Like,
so we were busy all year round with sports.
So we're at the field 6 nights a week. Do you know what that's like?
It's a lot.
Huh. Dude, after a long day of getting bitched at by consumers, banks, vendors, your own staff.
Yeah.
And then it's 5:30. I'm like, all right, I guess I got to go coach. And then you go coach. And you're like, dude, move over. And they're like, where? And you're like, why can't anybody just listen just once? And it's a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So when you get to this level where you are then going to, so your kids say they want to go play hockey or they want to wrestle, and their events are at 5 a.m. Their practices are at 5 a.m. Take them there. Kids play baseball. They want to play. You got 2 boys, right?
Yeah.
So you got 2 guys that want to play lacrosse because you live in Springfield. And if you don't play lacrosse, field hockey, football, you are dog shit to the sports. Like if you play baseball, nobody gives a shit in Springfield.
It's always has been lacrosse in Springfield.
Lacrosse, football, field hockey. And the girls' lacrosse team is insane. My daughter does not like it. Thank God. I sit there and she's like, I don't like it. I like softball. I'm like, awesome.
Perfect.
I thought it was awesome. No. Now she's getting picked at top, right? And she's playing for Drexel Hill. She's playing for Springfield. And then they're asking her to be on all-star teams, and they're asking her to be part of tournament teams. And I'm like, I was like, I got nothing left to give, and especially coaching my son's team, helping coach my daughter's team. You got no time.
Yeah.
So how do you go through this? And like my wife, like we have hallway sex. And when we walk down the hallway, she's like, fuck you. I'm like, fuck you too. And that's it. Like that's our sex.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And but like the thing is we have a common understanding. Like, dude, we're both busy. we don't feel well. Like when we wake up, we're like, dude, just leave me alone. I just need to like mind fuck myself. Like let me get through my laundry. Let me get through my thing. Or like if she doesn't wake up, it's like amazing morning. I have it by myself. And then when she like, I'll put my son to bed. I'll put my daughter, or she'll put my daughter to bed because I'm not allowed.
Yeah.
Dude, it's been 6 years.
You're not cool anymore.
Dude, I'm not allowed to read to her. I'm not allowed to put her to bed. Like she doesn't like me.
Yeah.
But she's like, but I love you. I'm like, yeah, but you don't like me. I was like, mommy loves me. I was like, I know she don't like me.
Yeah.
But so like, do you see this coming in your future? Like, is your wife understanding, like how do you guys split the roles, and how does the business come before the kids right now? And like when these things come, how is the business gonna hit?
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sorry to hit you with
No, you're good. I got to get my shit together. No, like really big time.
Yeah.
Because like I had mentioned it earlier, it's like, out of everybody, my wife definitely suffers the most out of everything.
Right.
And I mean, she's a damn good sport about it all.
And they'll never tell us.
But you can't even, I do give her some shit sometimes for, I'm like, you're not understanding of this, but it's like, the truth is that I can't even comprehend the amount of understanding she would have to have. Like I can't understand how difficult it must be to deal with me.
Right.
Because she's always like, what time are you going to be home today? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, why don't you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, because like I fucking don't. Like, I mean, things could go right today and I could be home at 4:30, or things could go wrong and I could be home like some other time.
And it's like, and it's 6:30. She's like, hey, can you pick up a brisket for us? Or can you pick up dinner? It's like, no, dude, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And that's where they're like,
I don't like giving.
I guess I'll just order pizza.
Yeah. And then I don't like giving a time like, hey, what time will you be home? Because like, I don't want to, like, I can't be wrong. Like, right. I'll be home at 4:30, and then you're wrong about being home at 4:30.
Right.
But then, that causes some problems. And the problem really with that is me, because she doesn't care what time I come home.
Okay.
It's just like, I'll say I don't know. And like, how frustrating would that be? Like, oh, I guess he's going to come home at some point. I don't know when it is or what. Like, she doesn't know how she needs to plan her day.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll tell her, hey, I'll be home at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. And then like honestly, I'll just not even think about telling her that I'm not going to be home at that time. Like, I'll just get carried away with my day. Yeah. And how awful is that? Right?
So it's
how awful is that?
It's bad. She can't even.
You can look through my phone and see. I have 20 in the time we've been here. I have 27 missed messages. You can see all the different people that I message every single day, and all these phone calls that I get and everything, and all these people that I'm constantly communicating with and keeping them 100% up to date on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just don't do that for my wife.
Right.
And like, how horrible is that? And so like, she does get very frustrated with me, and I have nobody to blame but myself for that. So that's why before the kids start to get into sports and doing more stuff, so I say I got to get my shit together. So
right. And then basically when you have to get your shit together, you have to take a pay cut.
Yeah, I'm faced with. I've been going back and forth. Like I said, business person first. I'm way into my numbers and everything, and I'm at the point now where I'm like, I kind of have a decision to make. Do I want to make Captivate Painting and Remodeling a lifestyle business, or do I want to scale the shit out of it and make some real fucking money? Because the way I have it set up right now is for it to make some real fucking money. And it is very time consuming. It's very stressful, and it costs a lot of money, time and money.
Yeah.
And, you like to think, hey, it's all going to be worth it. It could be, or it could easily not be as well. Or do I want to turn it into more of just a small lifestyle business?
So this is the contemplation that I always have. I go through every day is that, like, would it be easier just to be a worker with
Well, yeah, it would be.
with a family. You know, like you have a bad day at a business and you're like, I guess fuck it, dude. I'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, I'll get back after tomorrow. But you're still a parent, you're still a father. Like you don't have to worry about anything when you get home. And obviously, you know, the wife doesn't know how to treat us when we get home because they're like, can I do like I did dinner? Is this okay? And it's like they're trying to cater to you and you're trying to cater to them. But when they try to cater too much to us, they're actually in the way. All we need is like, give us a fucking pizza, give me my kids, let me do my thing, and let's just go on with our day.
Yeah.
You know, don't sit there and be like, oh, do you need to go take a shit, honey? I laid off the seat for you and everything. I put the heat on in the bathroom for you so you're not cold. Leave me the fuck alone. You know, we're men. Like we get through this shit. Right. And the thing is that women get through this shit too. And if you take us out of the equation, the moms will be just fine. If you take moms out of the equation, we would just be fine. We might be eating out a lot more than the women, but as business owners, we want to sit there and actually be a husband as well. And that's where, you know, we sit there, you know, throughout our day and we're sitting there like, oh shit, like I need to be a better dad. I need to teach my kid. The one thing that happens is like 9 o'clock at night, we're like, I should have been a better husband, right?
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, if you were going to give advice to a high school student or a college student, and this is, you know, path to possible because the way I did it was a lot different than the way you did it, right? You took your dad, like you grew up in this business realm. I didn't learn it until I was 27. That's when I started reading books. I didn't read anything, and I was an idiot. And I still don't read. I read everything on
Audible. You listen.
Audible. Yeah, I listen to it because you know when you got a third grade reading level, it kind of stinks. And, you know, it's like the Seinfeld episode when he reads the Audible book or he listens to the Audible book and it sounds just like him. He's like, I can't read this book.
Yeah.
It's awful. And that's how I am. But when if you have any advice to give to like a high schooler that's coming up and aspires to be a entrepreneur or a college kid that wants to be an entrepreneur or a late 20s, what is your message to them?
Let me think about that for a second.
Yeah, take your time. Because I'll give you one of mine is build a one of the things that I didn't realize until probably like 3 years ago is create a bill for yourself. Every time that we think about bills, Pico comes in, Aqua comes in, you know, our vendors come in. It's a bill that you always have to do. Now, the one thing I never did was I never created a bill that was personal that went to a savings account. So what I started doing in January of this year was I created a bill, $1,066 a week for the cafe. And all it does is it goes into a savings account. Now it's a high yield savings account and it builds up, right? And it keeps building, it keeps building, it keeps building. And this is what you set for your intangibles that you don't know about, right? These things come up. The other thing is that you want to stay liquid. So like say you do a job for 50 grand and you got a credit card that's 20 grand, but you need to pay $30,000 of a credit card bill that you put on credit for your COGS. Now you got zero and you're getting rid of all this shit. No, what you need to do is you need to stay liquid and try to pay the minimums until you can literally build up enough to pay off half. You know, say you got a credit card of 20 grand. You need to build up 40 grand in that savings to pay that half off.
Yeah, you want to have your own line of credit.
You want to have your own line of credit.
You want to build your own line of credit.
And that's one of the hardest parts about playing from behind.
Playing from behind is no fun.
No,
but
I
so
played from behind.
On some advice for anybody that is looking to, you know, be an entrepreneur, whatever the hell that means to anybody,
Right.
Would just be have a plan, a real plan before you get going. Take the time to identify whatever it is that you're going to be putting your time and money into, whatever that business is going to be, and make sure that you understand exactly what you're getting into, and then take the time to plan out what does your first 3 months look like, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and just think about that and plan it. Because I have like, I'll just fucking jump in. I'll be like, oh, cool, good idea. This looks like a good idea. Like, here, let me just go and do this. And I'll jump into things with no plan at all. And on the surface, it can all appear that things are going really well, and you're running and you're hustling and bustling, and you're making a lot of people happy, and you're making a lot of sales, and there's thousands of transactions in your bank account, and then like you start looking at it deeper, and you're like, wow, I have no margin on anything. I have no time outside of this. It's consumed my entire life, and it all could have been avoided if I would have just like taken some time to think and plan.
Okay, so let me ask you. I'll dive a little deeper into this. So when you think and plan, right? So you can literally find anything on the social media or the web, right?
Yeah.
Now look at our boy Alex Hormozy. Now he'll sit there and tell you every which direction. Don't do this. Don't start your business. Or I think his name is Brian Kelly or something like that, or Billy Kelly or something like that. And he talks about how he bought 6 businesses throughout the year, and you know, they all have a cash flow of like 70 grand for each business.
Right.
Well, not each business, but for all together combined. But they're not giving us the actual like ins and outs, right? And then they want their business to start this. Like they want to say, DM me for more on business.
Yeah, like they're selling consulting and education.
And when you go to the consultants, right? I've bought into consultants, and consultants have literally told me nothing that I didn't know already. And they're like, well, you need to go on Thumbtack. Well, what's Thumbtack? All right, so I go on Thumbtack. You know how many leads I got from it? 0. And I give a 0 like this because it's an asshole. And I was the asshole that paid the money to go
hundreds of dollars for Thumbtack alone.
Exactly. Yeah. And it didn't really do anything for me. Now, when you sit there and talk about you need to have a plan, how do you find this information for the plan? And this is why I enjoy doing this podcast, because I want raw understanding. Like, dude, you are coming up. I am coming up. There are people who are coming up, but I also want to hear from the old people who came up, you know. Yeah. And when you talk to an old business owner, like our business association,
that's why I like the GSBA.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's old dudes that they've been having the same breakfast for the last 20 years. Like the same guys, the same breakfast for the last 20 years.
And you know what? The 10 years before that, so give them 30 years. They have literally built their business, went through the shit, went through the muck, enjoyed all the shit that was thrown at them, built families, had the same stresses. And then all of a sudden, at their 50s and 60s mark, they're enjoying every bit of it. So where do we find this information? Because when you go on social media, right, and you go online,
Everything's great.
oh my goodness,
everybody's making millions of dollars, and it's pretty simple.
yo, you got 2 kids? Give them $13,000 a year and talk about their tax write-offs.
Yeah.
Talk about this tax
Where the fuck are you
write-off.
getting the $26,000 from to even give your kids that money?
Yo, honestly, I try to give my kids like $5,000 a year, and you don't understand how much that's fucking problem. It's awful. So you get to that point where what do you see on social media, and what do you see online? And when you look up things, so like I've been trying to refi all of my debt to go to a cheaper interest rate.
Yeah.
Everything you read and you reach out to these people, and then what they say is, oh, you know what? I need you to go in default. We'll take care of everything. You go into default, and we'll knock your $600,000 down to $200,000. Motherfucker, I don't want that.
Yeah, you can call the credit card companies. If you have credit card, you can call them on your own and say, hey, by the way, you're never going to get this money from me. Can we make a deal? You don't need to pay somebody to do that.
But the thing is, I'm not defaulting.
Right.
I'm just trying to lower my interest rate. You lower your interest rate and you're good. Like you're saving $2,500 a month, which is fine. But the banks, obviously, like when you work for somebody and you feel like you're not moving up, you got someone putting their foot on your head, right? This is how it is as a business owner when you're coming up the wrong way. You know, when you don't have a parent to give you money, or you don't have a grandparent to give you money, or, you know, you don't inherit the money. You have to come up the backwards way. And the backwards way is getting a lot of debt, right? And there's good debt, there's bad debt. You know, bad debt is buying, 16 different suits on a credit card. Good debt is buying assets and using banks' money to do so. But the thing is that when you do so much, like I bought 2 businesses on credit. Now the bank has me by the balls. Mm-hmm. They're like, you ain't going to be able to buy another one. Well, why not? Well, because we think you're going to use the next one to pay for the other one, and then this one to pay for the other one, and then that's how shit works.
Right.
So unless the only way you're free is that if you don't have debt.
Yeah.
Or somebody, like, you need that level of fuck you. You know, I watched The Gambler, awful fucking movie. I hated it. And great actors, but he always, like, John Goodman talked about the level of fuck you. He goes, you want to be at a level of fuck you. Like, you want to, like, I'll buy your business, right? I'll buy Vera's for $600,000. No problem.
The paperwork.
Exactly.
I'm ready.
Skip the paperwork.
Yeah.
I'll throw you fucking money. That's a level of fuck you. And when you sit there and say, hey, dude, you owe me $20. Here's 50. Level of fuck you. Right? And you get to that point. Where are we going when we try to explain to the younger generations, you have to, like, if you want to play from behind, you got to play the minors first to get to the pros.
Yeah.
And, house flipping, same way. Like, the banks don't even offer any foreclosures anymore, right?
I don't know. It's tough. The last time we tried to do a foreclosure sale or sheriff sale was like 2021, and it was just like a joke. It was like they weren't actually selling anything there. They were trying to get them on the market because the real estate market's been a little bit different.
Selling
the real estate investment market's still great. People are always, it's all just about buying, right? People are always out there buying. So you make your money when you buy, but yeah, I mean, we use a lot of private money in house flipping. Mm-hmm. They're like you're not getting anything good from a real bank.
No.
A real bank, an institutional bank.
Well, yeah, I mean, you sit there, like, again, like I said, when you play the minors, right? So when you do a house flip, right? If you play with the bank's money, and say you bought a house for 200 grand and flipped it for 340. Now, if you play with if you play with your own money, you're making a lot of money. And when you play with house money, you might make 40 grand instead of 140 grand.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And it's expensive, but you have to play the game if you want to get in it without the money. And there is a possible way to do these things.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, like me, if I came into your realm, right, and I was doing bathrooms, I wouldn't be able to compete with you. I would have to play in the minors. Like let's just say you make 20 grand on a bathroom. I would have to make 5 to do it.
Yeah.
1, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. 2, I have to sub that out. And 3, I have no clue what I'm doing.
Right.
But I have to make lower money than what you would make on a bathroom.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by playing by the minors. Like when you do it the fucked up way, you have to make lower money. But you have to gain your time and understand that this money you still can't quit your day job yet. You have to continue to do what you're doing. And now we take that 5 grand, we put it back into the business. Now we go to the next one. Now we got 10 grand. All right, so now we got to put it back into the business. Okay, now we got 15 grand. But you got away, man. Like you came up through it. You got people. You made your thing. When you have your moment, you're not making 5 grand. You're making 20. And then when you start making 40 in the next realm, that's when you hire somebody, and that's when you start coaching the boys hockey team.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Yeah. So I'm always trying to backtrack where, the amount of money that I need to bring in household wise, and how to get there. Because it's exciting. We still live in a relatively fantastic country where there's a ton of opportunity and everything. So it's always just putting the puzzle together. Like, okay, at the end of the year, in order for me to be happy with my personal income, that number needs to be like $300,000. So how do I get to $300,000? And this is where I always get myself tripped up. It's like, well, in the past we've done 7, 8 house flips in a year. Now, if they were all, to be honest, on a lot of house flips, like we make like 20 grand. It's not like you're making millions of dollars. I mean, you can, but like around where we are, like I'm buying a house for $140,000, putting 30 into it, trying to sell it for, 260, 270.
Yep.
And then there's a bunch of costs and fees involved with it too. Right. So, it's like 20 grand. Cool. Recently haven't been doing as much flipping because I've been spending so much time on the remodeling business. Good. And it's, it's just like trying to see the different ways you can get to that total number that you want to hit. Yeah. And that's why I had mentioned, maybe we make Captivate Painting and Remodeling more of a lifestyle business. All right, if I make it a lifestyle business, I can get a lot of time back, and I can probably still do like $150,000 personal income. So now I only need to solve for $150,000 personal income for everything else. So, okay, Veers is going to, bring in this amount of money, and then like, okay, cool. I only need to find like 3 flips to do, and it gets me to my number. And now this is a lifestyle business, and there's not as much time or stress involved. And Vera's is a solid business that we continue to grow. And then finding 4 or 5 flips even would be super easy if I was taking all of my time back and being able to dedicate it to finding these flip properties.
I love it.
So it's
I love it.
and
So
that's
you're
what,
still
that's
playing.
why I got this game going on in my head all day every day, and it's like so probably why I never really get anywhere.
So you're still playing the minors, and you're just waiting for that one hit, and that's all it's going to take. Like we're risk takers as entrepreneurs. You're risk takers, and when you take these risks, you're like, all right, well, is this going to pop off? Vera's might pop you off and be like, well, I guess I don't need to worry about this.
We got some fun stuff going on with Vera's. Rich, I know we talked about sales a little bit earlier. Rich Gallo, my business partner, is he's a dog on the phone.
I love it.
That guy loves making connections, and he has a full-time job still that he works,
right?
And then he just loves making all these connections. He loves Vera's, he loves Springfield, he loves making all these connections, and so like he gets us the most random shit. Like no, like seriously, we have the frozen dessert contract with some like food and beverage company.
Okay.
And Briganti distributors. And Briganti has the food and beverage contract for this venue in North Wilmington where the Union soccer team like practices. There's like a bunch of soccer fields there, and then one of the Sixers D League teams plays in the stadium there, and they have like concerts and boxing events and all this. And so like we have the contract with that food and beverage distributor to do all of the frozen desserts. And they're also getting, so now wherever this distributor gets contracts, we automatically add on more contracts because like they're getting the Met in North Philly.
Right.
And so we're going to get the Met in North Philly because they're getting it. I'm like, how do you even get, he's like, they have an Italian family. And he's like, oh, it's like my cousin. It's like my cousin's cousin. I'm like, all right, like whatever, dude.
That's amazing.
But it's cool. So we're expanding into wholesale for Vera's. We have an events division, and then we have the store.
Oh my!
So yeah, we have some cool things going on for Vera's.
Tony Luke's, man, they're in those stadiums right now.
Yeah.
You know, like all the crab fries, and then all like you guys sit there, go into the stadiums, go into the venues, and you're the frozen dessert guys. You know, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I never thought like that.
You never, yeah, right. And funny thing is that like I sit there and I think the cafe is going to be like the number one, like that's going to be our money grab. No, the garage is starting to like come in, and then it goes out, and then it comes in, and it's like, whoo, what do you do?
So how do you decide where to spend your time?
So
as far as the businesses,
that's a great question. I spend my time where I feel like I'm needed, right? And somebody once told me that you need like the money goes to where the CEO sits. Now, I never considered myself a CEO. I never considered myself an owner. I always considered myself the person that is just running the processes, right? And, with the garage, I'll sit there like maybe once or twice a week, and I'll do it for a few minutes, and I get everything done. And then I get more work done when I'm at home, because I don't have any distractions. Like even the dog doesn't distract me at home. When I go to the bakery, you get people that come up to you and they start bitching. Dude, trying to find somebody that wants to work without bitching.
Good luck.
Good luck. You find somebody that actually wants to work. And they want to work this business. And it's like, well, you're not paying me enough. Well, you didn't tell us that. Or you're not doing, like, I was unappreciated. Do you want us to, kiss your ass every day? Because every day we have asked you, like, do you want anything? Do you need anything? What can we do to make you better here? They say nothing. But then they talk behind your back to everybody. And then you have 10 people that work for you that all sit there and this place sucks. This place is awful. I don't like, and they all sit there and they all talk about it. Why? Do we beat the shit out of you? Do we scream at you? No, we don't do any of that. But the thing is, you look at what you deal with on a daily basis at the Captivate. You look at all the things that you deal with at just Vera's. You know, you got somebody that's like, you're hiring what, a 17-year-old?
I will say Vera's is a bit of an anomaly for employees.
You're hiring high school kids.
They're all Springfield high school kids.
Yeah.
The store is right down the street from the high school.
And all their friends are stopping it.
They don't have drug and alcohol problems. They don't have baby mama drama and any of the standard stuff that you get. And it's like a pleasant job. Like you said, all their friends come to see them. They make out great. I mean, like these girls that get paid, we pay them like $7-8 an hour in the store. We see their credit. This doesn't include whatever their I know that cash jar is always full for the tips, but we see what their credit card tips are for shifts. Mm-hmm. Not including their cash tips. If you include their credit card tips and their wages, these girls are like 16, 17 years old scooping water ice for like 3 hours, and they're walking out like $30 an hour.
Dude,
it's like, what?
So we got the same thing at the cafe. Dude, I got 2 high school girls, right? They're seniors. Why wouldn't you push this onto like the next junior or the sophomore? Because obviously in high school, you know exactly who's going up. These girls, they work from 9 in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That means you get to go out with your friends at night. You get to hang out. You get to sleep in. I mean, I was always a morning bird, so like 9 o'clock seems like sleeping in today. And you can always sleep in, and you know, you still get to deal with your social life. Mm-hmm. They're making $300-400 a pay.
Yeah.
Just in tips. Dude, can you imagine? I was delivering pizzas when I was in 11th grade. I was making $100 a week.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it rain.
Yeah.
You know?
I was working at my dad's diner. And
right.
Like I didn't go to college or anything after high school. And I was line cook at the diner.
Okay.
And I was like, I just have to make as much money as I can. I'm going to work as much as I can.
Right.
And there was never any preferential treatment or anything like that. I just showed up and I worked. Dude, when I would regularly work, like my regular schedule is like 70 to 80 hours a week. And when people went on vacation, I'd be like, give me all the hours. Like, give me all of them. Because the diner was open 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Right.
And so if you're open, you got to get there like 5:30 or so. And then if you're closing, you stay until like 9:30, 10 o'clock, depending on, how busy the shift was.
Agreed.
So when somebody would go on vacation, there was a couple of weeks where like literally I punched out at the end of the week, which was really just never ending. But like over 100 hours. And I was getting paid $10 an hour. So I thought I'm like, this is like, I'm making like $1,000 working 100 hours a week. And I mean, I was 19. So like, I thought that was pretty cool at the time, but you start looking at it and you're like, Jesus Christ, dude, like really?
I lost a lot of money.
I went with 100 hours and I made $1,000. You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Want to circle back on the importance of the GSBA. So this is where we met. It was actually great to network with somebody of your nature. Let's talk about the actual importance of working with somebody in like a BNI group that has been through it, done it, been there, done that type of certain way, and they carved their own way, right? So like it's hard for them to give us the path to possible because they only want to sit there and enjoy their own kudos, which I dig, but at the same time, like I want to bring it out. What makes this important for us to see how they interact? Yeah. So let's go on that real quick.
That's why I actually joined the GSBA. Okay. Mark Rogers been trying to get me. Awesome guy.
Yeah.
He's been trying to get me to join for quite a few years. I never made networking groups a priority until this year. And so I was like, yeah, Marcos, I'll go in. I'd love to. He's like, all right, well, the problem here is that, it's an exclusive group and there's already a remodeling company in there and he doesn't really want you in there. I'm like, and the remodel, I'm like, I don't really give a shit about him. He seems to care about me more than I care about him. I don't like, we're not competition to him and we know it. They're a big fish.
Yeah.
They're a big fish.
Yeah.
He's like, well, kind of got a little problem there. I was like, dude, like, I'll go in as Virus, water ice. Like, It makes sense. We're in Springfield and everything. And like, I'm like, I don't even care about I'm not there to try and get business. Like, I'm not going to fucking breakfast trying to sell bathrooms to a bunch of 60, 70-year-old guys, because that's what it is in that group.
And I'm glad you said it the way you said it, is that you're the little fish and he was the big fish. Right.
I mean, it's just true.
Exactly. And
it's just true.
There's a lot for everybody to get a piece. Right. There's not one doctor.
Most people understand that. Some people don't get that.
No, and they won't. And that's how do we get through that? Right. So like we just had a situation last week with one of our competitors, and we called them and we were like, hey, you guys did a bunch of doors out in this area, and they're like, oh, let me guess, they want to get their top section replaced. And they're like, yeah. We're like, yeah, what was the door? But before we asked that question, they gave us the actual door, and they were like, oh, it's the E4400. And we were like, oh, thank you. And they're like, oh, let me guess. And then we told them, and then they hang up on us. Like, dude, we're not in there to hurt you.
Right.
We're not telling them that you're a piece of shit. We didn't tell them that you did wrong. We're there to help and, make money as if the consumer doesn't like you, they might like us.
Right.
But we don't have to hate each other because our consumers don't like us.
Right.
And that's where you say like, hey, the big fish and the little fish is like, yeah, dude, look, I'll be a little fish for a while.
It's like we just don't even do the same thing. We don't even do the same thing. But I won't get into the whole thing. That they, whatever. But yeah, basically I wanted to join that group because Mark had said that, hey, look, it's like all the guys are getting older. They're not really super active in their businesses anymore. We want to turn the group around. We need more young people.
Right.
Like, sure, I'll go in there. I was like, but I really don't care about getting in there. I'm not trying to sell bathrooms and water ice in this group. It's like, I want to gain knowledge from these people. Like, they have adult children and their businesses have been around for 40 years. Like they have so much knowledge and information that like I can gain from them.
Right. Either sell it to me or give me the knowledge. Like, what do you got?
Right. And so like how you were saying earlier, you see all these people on the internet and they're trying to sell their systems and their knowledge and everything.
Right.
Me personally, I find it to be a much safer route to this group costs what? It's like $1,000 a year. Not even.
It's like $600.
Yeah. And you get to go out to breakfast or whatever. And like, you get in the room with all these guys. They all have successful businesses. They're local businesses. You know that what they did was real. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you even know their kids. It's like their kid is a douchebag. So like, maybe I don't want to listen to them on parenting. Right. Or like, dude, like their kid's like an awesome guy. Like he's 10 years older than me. His kids are great. He's great. This guy owned and operated a fantastic, successful business for 40 years. Like, and I'm in the room with this guy every other week for a grand total of $600. I want to get as much information from him as possible. He raised great kids. He raised a great business, and he's like, in his 60s and happy, and he's out having breakfast with people. Like, like I want as much information as him from those people as possible.
The dude that got me in cracked me up on the first time.
Who got you into that one?
So it was Ian Bongard, who owns Comfort Keepers.
Yeah,
and he's a great dude. And the first time that I showed up, or it was like the second meeting that I had, because he didn't show up to the first. The second one, he sat there and he's sitting there on his phone and he's sitting there working. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm working. I'm like, we're supposed to be in a meeting. He goes, yeah, no, dude, I got to work. And I'm like, all right. Yeah. So do I. But like, I'm in the meeting. Like, I paid $700 to be in this. And then you get to the point where you start hearing a lot of political things.
That is a very political group.
So it bothers me. And I'm like, I didn't pay $700 to hear the local politician tell me what the fucking bear shit in the buckwheat. I want to know what the fuck you did in business to keep going for 40 years.
Yeah.
Because I'm in year 4 or year 3, and I'm sitting there like, whoo, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Do I go back to work? Do I get a job at Home Depot? Do I deliver pizzas? Do I start Ubering? And it's scary. And these guys are sitting there working, not giving a fuck. And then I got to listen to the local politician that comes to our meeting and takes up fucking 20 minutes of our time.
We had the priest the one time.
We had the priest.
Were you there with the priest?
Yeah, I was with the priest, and he sat there, and like the funny thing is that the priest is sitting there. He's like, oh well, yeah, we're not getting any help from.
He's like
from the.
He's like, fuck the archdiocese.
Right, and we're not getting any help.
He's literally. He's like, forgive my language, but fuck the archdiocese.
Dude, you got the biggest fucking business in the realm. And they're not even helping a church. You know what's funny is that the church has a bad roof, and they're like, we need the community to come together to bring us a fucking roof. Your house burns down, and here goes the fucking archdiocese. We will pray for you.
Yeah.
We will pray for you, and we hope everybody comes together to give. Motherfucker, give me a goddamn fucking roof. Because guess what? We gave you a roof, we give you money, we give you this.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how those meetings
I'm going to go on a tangent.
That's how those meetings go sometimes, it feels like.
And that's how and that's
you weren't at the last meeting. They got a little feisty at the last one.
I'm sure they did. What was it about the fucking build over in
No, it was just like the real estate agent in the group. There's some he's hilarious. He cracks me up.
Dude,
but there was some
fantastic.
He's a great dude.
Yeah.
But there were some offhanded comments that I found personally very funny and entertaining. But some of the people in the room did not.
Oh boy.
Did not agree with that. But anyway, it made it all worth it.
And our president doesn't know business.
Yeah. We got to blow the whole fucking group up. We got to restart it. I was talking with Mark like last week because we're doing some work at his house, and I was like, Mike and I, we went to the Phillies game. We had a great time, and we came up with some things that we think would be helpful for the group. I kind of left out the fact that we think we should just blow it the fuck up and start over. But at the end of the last meeting, Mike Curl, the health insurance guy that's in there, he stayed with me after and was just like asking, like genuinely interested in where I'm at in life and asking some questions. And it was probably only like 15 minutes, but in that 15 minutes, he reassured me that like I'm on the right path, and he gave me some critiques with, what maybe I could do different, and, shared some of his own personal experience with where he went wrong and how I could maybe avoid going wrong in the same things.
Information?
It was good information.
It's good.
And that's
the way
that's exactly why I joined that group. If I can get 15 minutes, the meetings are every other week. If I can get 15 minutes of time from all of these guys, just one of them every other week for an entire year, 27 meetings, and I get 15 minutes of all their little tidbits of what to do, what not to do, like that stacks up, and that's important to me.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't want that either, because now you're taking time after that meeting to give me 15 minutes. Like, dude, I don't have 15 minutes. I gotta get the hell out of there. Now, and I agree with you. Like, you're enjoying that, but you know what? The freaking meeting should be a good conversation with everybody, not just stuff in your face and talking to the dude next to you.
Yeah.
And, there's a reason I don't go sit next to your chair every time I go see you where you're at.
Well, we're going to talk outside of the group.
I'll talk outside of the group, but I'll also talk in the group. But I also want the group to actually have a conversation,
Right.
and wait till the next meeting. But hey, we are going to wrap this up today. Anything that you want to leave on the table for the next generation, any type of aspiring entrepreneur that wants to come up, whether they're in their 18 or whether in their teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, I want to know, like, is there anything that you want to bring to the table that they should understand when they get into this business?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks again, Mike, for having me on the show.
Yep.
I had a great time. Super awesome. So for anybody, regardless of your age, if you're looking to get into the small business ownership, entrepreneurial mindset, things of that nature, it's not easy. So prepare yourself for that. Don't expect it to be easy. Ignore what people say online or take it with a grain of salt, because it is not as easy as they make it out to be. And with this show being the path to possible, I just want everybody to know that it is possible. You can get to where you want to go. And it might not be the path, but there are many paths to get to where you need to go. So take your time, like I said earlier, and think about where you want to go with things and plan it out, and then just follow your plan as best as possible. Follow that path, and it's possible. You'll get to where you want to be.
Lou, that's amazing, man. Hey, thank you. Lou Farese, Captivate Painting and Remodeling, and Vera's Water Ice, which is on Saxor app. How would you like our viewers to reach out to you? Give me your social medias. Give me your phone number.
Yeah,
what do you got?
So,
Give me everything.
Yeah. So,
how do I reach you?
Yeah. So I mean,
what's your social security number?
Okay. Well, here you go. So I have it all in my bag because I just had to go and get the real ID. So I got every piece of information in my bag right there.
Man.
No, but I don't do Instagram or Twitter or any of that stuff. I do Facebook. You can find me on there. It's just my name. I'm sure that'll be in the show notes somewhere. If you want to give me a call, our office line is 484-454-1208. I do answer all those calls. It's a cell phone that's in my bag.
How far out will you go? Will you go to like Ben Salem and do a job if it's worth it? Or
yeah, we try. We've gone as far as like an hour and 20 minutes away for the right job.
Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, the guys always love me for that one.
Yeah. You going to put them up in hotels too?
No, they work 410.
They
work 410.
My man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. Hey, thank you again, Lou. Hey, again, Captivate Painting and Remodeling. They are amazing people. When they get this pineapple water ice back on, Brewer's is going to be back on the market, being awesome. What do you?
Yeah, that's exactly what we got. 5 hours till that meet.
All right,
4 or 5
awesome,
hours till
awesome.
that meet.
Hey, get that
and
pineapple.
I'm gonna be there asking about it.
Yep, get that pineapple back. My daughter is going to absolutely love it. Hey, want to thank Young Junk today. They are absolutely awesome with hosting us in this studio. It's a beautiful studio today. We did the chairs. It was really cool.
I like this setup.
Yeah, this setup's really cool. Maybe I'll get like a banner at some point. But hey, thank you again. I really appreciate it. And Dylan, thank you again. I always got to thank you, buddy. You're awesome. And appreciate you. And we'll talk to you next time.
Young John!